Hi everyone, welcome to Staying Green in Quarantine, where we're sharing tips to help you build a more sustainable lockdown. We hope you've been enjoying the videos we've shared so far. If you have, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for updates when we release new ones. Now, today we're going to be bringing more life into our garden, but in a slightly different way, by attracting birds. We'll be creating a birdhouse and a bird feeder out of old containers we had lying around the house that were destined for the recycling. And you can really easily spruce them up with some paint or with some twine and some glue, which is what we'll be doing to create that old, cute, rustic kind of look. Now, birdhouses and bird feeders are a great way to attract a wide variety of birds to the garden. The birds themselves are fun to watch, they're pretty, but more importantly, they play a crucial role in any ecosystem. They help spread seeds, they help keep the population of insects in check, and studies have shown that providing food and shelter for birds, especially in the early springtime, means more baby birds will fledge or develop the feathers that they need to fly. Now, if you're looking to buy bird seed, you can really easily pick some up from your local grocery store, or we'll include a link in the description below for places you can buy it in a more eco-friendly way. Bringing birds into the garden is a win-win, so let's get started. We're going to get started with the bird house, and this one's really simple. All that you're going to need is a big juice carton, and then a pair of scissors, a pen and a ruler, a stick, and then something that you can use to decorate the house so it looks nice both for you and for the birds. Now we've got some string and some PVA glue, but if you want to use some paint, that's also nice as well. Before you get going with this, you want to make sure you've given your container a nice wash out. And once you've done that, the first thing to do is just take off the lid and remove the pouring spout with a pair of scissors. The next thing to do is to cut the entrance hole for the birds. Now you want this to be about 4 centimeters in diameter. We're lucky because the lid of our juice carton is actually about that size. If you don't have something that is that size, take a ruler and measure maybe like a salt shaker or something, find something that's roughly the right size, put it on the carton, draw a circle around it in your marker, and then cut it out with your pair of scissors.
Do you have a nail file I can borrow?
Yeah.
For this?
Yeah.
And the next step in the construction of the house is to put the stick in, which is just a little perch that helps the bird jump up through the hole. You're going to want to cut 2 holes in your carton to do this. The first on the front, about halfway between the bottom of your entrance hole and the bottom of the carton, so about 2.5 centimeters up. You're then going to want to turn the carton over and mark a little spot in the same place where you'll also be marking a hole. Now when you're cutting those holes out, make sure they're slightly smaller than the diameter of your stick, just so the stick is in nice and tight.
This process is a little bit of trial and error, so what you really don't want to do is make your hole too big. So make your hole quite small to start with, and then as you kind of go, see if you can fit the stick in, and if you can't, cut the hole just a little bit bigger, and keep doing that until it's just about the right size. And there we are. So once you've got your stick in, it should be nice and firm. Move around just a little bit, but mostly it's kind of solidly in place. You'll only have it sticking out just a little bit on the back there. Now you don't want the perch to be sticking out too much either, so we're going to cut it off at about 5 centimeters, and all that means is we're just going to measure it out to 5 centimeters, take the pen, mark it on, like that, and then we'll snap it off.
The final thing to do before you start decorating the birdhouse is to cover up the hole that's left by the pouring spout. Now you can use the circle of cardboard that you've cut out for the entrance, but ours is just a little bit too small for that. So what we've done is we've taken a box that has a little bit of clear film in it, and we're going to just tear out that film, cut it to size, and then stick it over the top of the pouring spout. That's just to make sure the birds don't get damp if it starts raining.
Should we use sellotape or glue?
Tape.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Can you grab me a little bit?
Yeah.
And we're just going to place it over the top of the hole and secure it in place with a couple strips of sellotape. You know what?
What?
I am so bad at using sellotape.
Do you want me to do it?
No, I'll get it. Thank you though.
Okay.
I'll get there eventually. It's something I must master.
Do you know what are weird?
What?
Birdhouses.
Why?
Like, you don't make mouse houses, do you?
You can. Mouses.
Absolutely not.
Why?
I don't want it.
Okay, we're done.
Then the last thing to do is decorate it. Now you can take some paint and some Sharpies and kind of doodle on it to make it look pretty. We're just going to be using some string and some PVA glue. We'll be wrapping it around and gluing it as we go just to make sure it all kind of stays on, and that'll give it a nice rustic look.
Now we're just taking some glue and putting it all around the kind of bottom little chunk on all of the sides of the curtain. That's just to make sure that when the string kind of gets there, that it's held in place for now. You won't need to do this for the whole curtain. We'll be putting a little bits on as we go, but we're also going to be kind of going over the whole thing with a glue solution once we've finished wrapping it around with string. So we've done that. Make sure it's held in place nice and tight. Don't be afraid if you get a little bit of the glue on your fingers. And just start wrapping just like that. You want to get a nice and tight wrap because you don't want to be showing really any of the carton through the string. And there you go, off you kind of start. Thanks. Now when you get to the entrance, you're actually just going to keep wrapping the string and you're actually going to cover up the entrance. The reason for that is when you get to the end and you start painting over the string with a little bit of PVA glue, that's going to give it some nice rigidity. So when the glue dries, you should just be able to cut through the string there and it'll give the whole thing a nice uniform look, and it'll also make your life just a little bit easier. So we're going to have to take a slightly different approach to the top part of the birdhouse, and in order to do that we're just going to cut off the string that we've currently got there, and then grab the end and start a bit of a different pattern. Now the way that we're going to do this is we're just going to place a length of string that's the right kind of width, and we're just going to cut maybe 15 or 20 of those pieces that are the same length, and we're just going to stack them on top so they kind of go down the top of the carton to make sure it's that nice uniform look again. So start by covering the area in just a load of glue, spread it all out across the place. Put a little bit on the kind of top line of string just below there to make sure that it'll bond to the new string that you're putting on. Make sure that's all nice and secure in place as well. And then you can start actually putting the pieces on. It doesn't matter if they're a little bit too long, because once the glue's dried you'll be able to trim off the edges really easily.
Do you know what I've been thinking about? Oh, he's going in for multiples, guys. Oof. This is a man who lives on the edge.
What have you been thinking about?
Why, universally, all lids of white craft glue are orange?
I don't think that's a true statement.
Have you ever seen a bottle of glue that has a lid that isn't orange?
Yes.
Oh.
I've seen red, I've seen white.
What? What kind of glue are you using? Crazy glue. Get it? Because it's a thing. Crazy. Okay.
Fun with glue.
Once you finish wrapping the string, the last thing to do is just take your glue and absolutely cover the string in it. Don't be afraid to use your fingers and just spread it about. That just makes sure the string maintains its rigidity and it'll keep its structure. So now that the glue's dried, all that's left to do is to trim the twine. So we're going to cut off the kind of excess bits at the top here to make sure it's all nice and flat and flush, and then we're going to cut around the entrance hole as well. You don't need to worry about that too much. The glue should have made sure that the string's pretty rigid, and you just want to make sure that you get roughly around that hole so the birds can get in and out nice and easily.
Oh, she's cute.
And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to be making a bird feeder out of this plastic bottle. This is really simple. All you need is a stick and some string, as well as a pair of scissors and a drawing pin. And to get started, we're just going to make some holes in the bottom of the bottle with the drawing pin. That's just to allow drainage. And then we'll be making the holes bigger with a pair of scissors.
I really... Oh. Didn't think it was going to, if I'm being honest. I can only apologize.
Wow, that's nice.
Not easier than
Really just the easiest way to do this.
So now we're going to be hanging the bottle, and the way to do that, just grab a drawing pin, make a couple of holes at the top of the bottle about 2 centimeters down, and then widen the holes with a pair of scissors. Now I'm going to be using a ruler and a pen just to make sure that the holes are at the same height so the bottle doesn't hang wonky.
Yes.
So make sure it's hanging nice and flat, and then just loop it around your finger at the top. Pull the string through. And there you go, it's ready to hang. The next step is to make the perches for your birds, which is what you're using your sticks for. So we're going to start by making one set of holes about 5 centimeters up from the bottom of the bottle. Again, just make sure that the hole that you end up making is slightly smaller than the width of the stick, just to make sure it's nice and firm in there. We're then going to make another set of holes perpendicular to the first set, so at a right angle, and that's going to be about 10 centimeters up from the bottom of the bottle. That's just to make sure that a few birds can use the feeder at once if they want. And then you're nearly done. The last thing is just to make the holes so the birds can actually access the seed. And the way to do that is you're going to want to make a very small hole just under 1 centimeter in diameter, maybe about 4 or 5 centimeters above either side of the perch, so we're going to be making 4 or 5 holes. Once you've done that, you can just fill up the bottle from the top with seeds and hang it out in your garden and wait for the birds to come.
What are you touching me for?
I'm not.
Now that we've got it all set up, all that's left to do is fill it up with some bird seed and hang it out. Now when you hang it out, you want to make sure it's about a meter and a half off the ground. We're going to be hanging it from a tree, but you can hang it from pretty much anything as long as it's away from predators. It's going to go so badly.
May I make a suggestion?
You really may. Thanks so much for watching today, everyone. We hope you enjoyed it and you're looking forward to bringing some bird life into your garden. If you do start working on any of these projects, please tell us about it in the comments below. We'd love to see the birds that are visiting you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and share it with some of your friends, and subscribe to the channel as well. And as always, stay home, stay safe, stay green.